actually wanted to talk about the political aspects, especially in America, about yoga. If, the right-wing hardliners form the government, then yoga will be called satanic. And if the leftist liberals make the government, then yoga will be called Christian, and it'll be rid of its spiritual aspects, which are even more important. So this is the first time, like how sushi has become the mascot of Japanese culture in America, how K-pop has become the mascot of Korean culture. Yoga is going to become the mascot and has become the mascot of Indian culture. I mean, yes, of course, the Bollywood, but I think with the
no, I said better than Bollywood.
Absolutely, absolutely, and the dissociation that India has shown with Bollywood, I think only furthers yoga to be its mascot. So, under this, I asked that there is a lot of political support that the Black community has in America, and they have this cultural attachment to their Egyptian roots. And so they're saying that there is this thing called Kemetic yoga that predates Indian yoga. So that is a very problematic narrative that I think will get political support over there, regardless of what the government is. So how do we tackle that?
So that is a really good question. And I want to say not just, so of course, African Americans being the minority, but there are many other indigenous minorities in the US. And I feel like as the US population continues to become more non-religious but spiritual, that's a category that we see in surveys year after year, non-religious but spiritual category. As we see these folks become larger and larger number, there's something they're seeking. They want to go back to their roots. And the roots, of course, invariably are pagan in some sense or another, as we understand it. So while these movements will continue to happen, I am not worried that yoga will not survive because it has all this time. So I'm going to bring that in. But I think there's a lot of movements that kind of want to go back to the original self of who we were also. So there's counter movements as well. Maybe they're not getting traction in the news. But I agree with you. I mean, yoga, it is a battlefield. Either side we look at. And I feel like the narratives coming from India sometimes are even much more harsher than what I see in the papers here. Sometimes what I see here is like, oh, just kind of maybe just plain ignorance, which is fine, because then you can kind of go seek it out in a book. Sometimes what I see coming from India is much more malicious because it's well organized and it's planned. It's not simply ignorant. It's sinister. So I'm in agreement, but at the same time, I want to be hopeful that with a little bit of intervention by the government and lobbying groups, we don't have any of that here. We don't have collective action on the ground here in terms of yoga. If retired doctors and nurses and other health practitioners want to come together and form a lobby group to lobby yoga, I think we could, first of all, kind of get it recognized by insurance companies. And once it's legitimized that way in the system, then all of this just kind of fall by the wayside. I mean, stones will keep getting thrown at yoga, but I don't think I mean, we can do something to prevent it.